Yeah, we're very excited to have David Risley as our guest this evening. David is an artist, writer, and curator who ran his eponymous gallery in London and Copenhagen for 20 years. He was founding curator of Bloomberg Space and in 2003 founded Zoo Art Fair, first parallel fair to Freeze London, gaining instant notoriety as immediately. In 2023, he founded Chart Art Fair in Copenhagen. David has curated exhibitions for public institutions and major music festivals. He's taught at the Royal College of Art, Sotheby's, Royal Danish Academy of Fine Art, and soon to be Contemporary Art Academy. And there's so much to unpack. This will be a world first. It will be a part one. In February, probably, there'll be a part two. So, David, first question, was there a moment when you first discovered art?
Yeah, not hello, people. Yeah, not externally, but just through my own drawing, really. I think when I was about 5, I was drawing all the time and said to my mom that I wanted to be an artist, without really knowing what that meant. I was just copying comic books, basically. And people in the family said it was good, so I did it again.
And do you actually remember saying to your mum you wanted to be an artist, or is that something that's been sort of passed down as a family story? It's like she told you is that your memory, or is it what she's told you later on that you said? Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've no idea.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
I think I remember. But...
Was there any influence within the house, David? Any art activity, awareness within the family?
No, none. No. No, there were no books, no art. I didn't go to a museum, see a show until I was about 18, I think. So, no.
And where did you grow up? What part of the world were you?
In Staffordshire, the Midlands, near Birmingham, Tamworth. Kind of working class, overspill town from Birmingham.
Okay, great. So you've decided you're going to be an artist at 5 years old. That is extraordinary, I think. Is it something that you committed to and stuck with throughout your school years?
Yeah. I think the only other option I had was playing for Liverpool.
How did it go?
So I laughed there. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have been laughing. How far did you get in that? How far did you get in that career path?
I played a bit, never for Liverpool, but no, I was no good.
Yeah.
No, I only ever wanted to be an artist. There was no other. I've never been interested in anything else really. It's just that.
Do you think that affirmation was important to you when you were? Was that a moment when you're told this is good? Was that distinguished from anything else that you were doing?
Yeah, I think that kind of encouragement. I think because my dad was older, he was nearly 50 when I was born, so we were more likely to do quiet things than run around. So I was just constantly drawing, just lying on the carpet in front of the TV, copying stuff, drawing stuff. And I'd always say, like, what should I draw? And then he'd always say, draw my wages or draw the curtains.
Hey.
I'd always draw piles of money or draw windows. Actually, I'm still painting windows. Maybe that's where it started.
That's interesting. Yeah. Have you thought about that before?
Just so there you go.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in part 2, David.
Yeah.
Well, I think our work here is done already. You know, we've already been able to offer the insight.
It sounds like it's a supportive environment.
Very, yeah, very, very encouraging. Very, they always have been very encouraging. They never really. Years later, I got invited I got an amazing card through the post that was like nearly an inch thick with gold writing on it from, I think from the Queen, inviting me to a garden party at Buckingham Palace. And that was the first time they really got it, I think. They kind of said, if it's good enough for her, it's good enough for us. I was invited as a representative of the arts when I had the gallery. That was kind of the approval.
That's amazing. What was that for, David?
I don't know. some weird garden party with Battenberg cake and cucumber sandwiches with the cross cut off, and Robinson's barley water. And then lots of people would come up to me and say, "Hi, we run a charity for children. We've been doing it for 25 years. What do you do?" And I'm like, "But sell art for profit." nothing worthy about it at all. But
there's rules to it.
And so you go on to art school. Where did you study?
Firstly, went to foundation course in Stafford. It was amazing. Loved it.
Is that straight from school onto foundation?
Yeah, I did sixth form at school, where I was allowed to have like free periods.
Yeah.
And I was allowed to just use the art room all the time. So I'd set stuff up in there and just work. I kind of had my own studio in the art room and just painted all the time. I was, kind of taught myself oil painting in there.
Did you have fellow artists at school? How were you part of a crew or more insular? How did that play out?
Oh no, no one else.
Yeah.
It's just me. It was just. I think I kind of hid within that. I got my own little place and just worked all the time.
Yeah.
Kind of the same as I do now. I just wanted to be in there all day, every day.
So it must be nice meeting some like-minded people at art school.
Yeah, going to Stafford, it's amazing. Just all the other weirdos from all the other local schools kind of put together. And we did the same thing. We just worked non-stop. We'd get the train. It was about 30 minutes on the train. And my dad made me Marmite sandwiches every day. It stayed with me. So go there and people I'm still friends with, people I represented in my gallery for years. We'd all meet there and work all day, every day, till we were kicked out every night. And, like, obsessed with music and making stuff.
That's great. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's trite to say it, but did you sort of find yourself and find your people there?
Yeah. It was great. There was one kid who I was in a band from when I was 14 or something. And there was no one else I knew in town with my age who was into the same kind of music. And there was a kid I'd seen walking around who had some jeans with suicide written down the side. And I think I was the only other person that knew that was a band and not a desire. And once I knocked on his door, I had a gig and an amp had broke. And I'd never met him, but I knew who he was. I went and knocked on his door and then we just awkwardly kind of nodded at each other. And I just said, "Could I use your amp?" He said, "Yeah." And then we never talked. And then he was at Stafford Art School as well. So we became like best friends through that. So it was like the only other weird kid from town.
So from Stafford, where did you do your undergraduate?
Did a year in Exeter.
Yeah.
That I hated.
Why did you hate it, David?
It just felt. I don't know how I knew at the time. I think it's because one of my friends from Stafford got into Bath. We all chose different because we're from the Midlands, we chose Bath, Bristol, and Exeter as our first choices, and all got in. I was at Exeter, Graham was at Bath, and he'd tell me what they were doing. It was really progressive and really rigorous, theoretical, quite tough. And what we were doing at Exeter seemed either very, kind of very macho. Seemed like modern art rather than contemporary art. It was either going up onto the moors and burning wood to make charcoal and doing long walks, and then making a drawing of your experience, or throwing pots of paint around like a 50s abstract expressionist. So I wanted to get away, and luckily got transferred to Bath straight into the second year, which was an amazing art school. I think for a provincial art school, it was really doing some good stuff, amazing tutors. Like we had a tutor there, the head of theory, Robin Mariner, you could just really feel that he lived it. He was writing for Frieze and Art Forum. He was friends with Richard Prince and Cindy Sherman. And I think he had this brilliant thing where, he was trying to explain quite complex ideas to a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids. And there was one time when we'd been talking about modernism and postmodernism for a whole course. And I think when people are very smart, they can take complex ideas into everyday language. And he just did this thing where I think you could see that we were a bit dumbfounded by it. And he just did this gesture where he went modernism, postmodernism. That totally stuck with me. I still think about that all the time. That there was an idea of progression and reaching a pinnacle within modernism, and postmodernism kind of let history back in.
Do you think that was a spontaneous gesture, or had he used it before? Was it part of the repertoire?
It felt very spontaneous.
Yeah.
He was great. And then there were a lot of other tutors there that I'm still in contact with, still friends with, that were really important. Yeah.
Is it important to maintain relationships in the art world, would you say? Sounds like some quite fundamental ones were formed early on.
Yeah. I think we got really lucky. Like our year and the year, the kind of 2 or 3 years around us, just below us and above us, loads of us are still working. Like Kate McGarry has the gallery, Glenn Brown was there. There's people who are curators at Tate and writers. There's Dale, who's worked at Frith Street pretty much since art school. A lot of artists, successful artists, writers, curators. Yeah, it's amazing. And I think through that, it's helped us that we see each other at Frieze or whatever.
That's an incredible cohort. That really is. That's an A-list cohort. I mean, so you move through college. When you finish at Bath, do you decide? Do you carry on as an artist at that point?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, well, yeah. A chef and an artist. While I was at art school, I was washing up, working in Mr. D's Burger Bar, and then washing up in a decent restaurant. And they taught me bits, and I became a chef. So I was painting all day, and then cooking all night in Bath. Yeah.
Getting any shows?
Not in Bath, no. No, it was a bit. I think it all happened through one of the things that we had at Bath was at Exeter, we had one trip to London a year that was £50. And at Bath, we had a trip to London every month and it was free. You had to pay £5 if you didn't go. So through that, we saw probably more than kids who were studying in London, because we were kind of dropped outside the Royal Academy and just had a whole day to spend looking at shows, going to record shops and bookshops. So then there was a tutor there called Rachel Evans, who at the time was totally flying. She graduated from Royal College and was on the front cover of Freeze. She was in the group show at Doffey. She was shown with Victoria Miro. And she invited my girlfriend at the time to be her assistant in London. So then we moved up to London. And that's when I had a couple of shows there. But that was more moving into the... Yeah, she was working around Bethnal Green Road. I got a studio on Fashion Street, where there was, in my studio, there was Nicky May, Neil Gould. Then next door was Jake and Dinos Chapman. Chris Feely was next door to them. We were just right in the middle of the art world.
Gilbert and George would have been around the corner, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I used to see them all the time. And I got a job at the Whitechapel in the bookshop in the gallery. So that whole period just felt, we were just getting immersed, going out every night to openings, seeing everything, meeting amazing people. And then a friend said to a friend of someone that we'd met that he had a show he wanted to make but didn't have the time or energy to do it. And then our friend said, "Oh, I've just met these young idiots, basically, so full of energy. They could do it." So then that was a show called River Deep Mountain High. Kelly was studying, my girlfriend at the time was studying in her MA, and she made the show part of her MA in theory. So we did this group show of contemporary landscape, which had Peter Doig and Henry Krakatsis, Sophie Rickett, David Blandy, Merlin James, Mascat Secondo, Carol Rhodes, and me, stupidly. So that's when we really started working around exhibitions and stuff in London.